South Korea recently found itself in the midst of a political storm when President Yoon Suk Yeol declared martial law on December 3, 2024, only to reverse the decision hours later following intense backlash. The announcement shocked the nation and evoked fears of a return to authoritarian practices, as martial law has not been declared in South Korea since 1980 during the Gwangju uprising. Yoon's justification for the move was based on alleged threats from pro-North Korean sympathizers within the National Assembly. However, the sudden and extreme nature of the decree left lawmakers and citizens questioning its legitimacy and motive. The swift reversal began when the National Assembly, South Korea's legislative body, convened an emergency session to vote against the decree. This parliamentary decision, coupled with public outcry and dissent from within Yoon's own party, compelled the president's cabinet to retract the order. The troops that had been deployed under the martial law directive were withdrawn, leaving the nation to grapple with the political and social ramifications of the ordeal. The opposition Democratic Party took a firm stand, denouncing Yoon's actions as unconstitutional and calling for his immediate resignation. They accused him of undermining South Korea's democratic principles and threatened to pursue impeachment proceedings if he refused to step down voluntarily. "We will not sit idly by and watch President Yoon's crime of destroying the Constitution and trampling on democracy," a spokesperson for the party stated. Their strong rhetoric underscored the gravity of the situation and the potential for a prolonged political battle. Criticism also came from Yoon's ruling Power Party. Party leader Han Dong-hoon issued an apology to the public, calling the declaration a tragic mistake. He demanded the dismissal of the defense minister, who reportedly advised Yoon to enact martial law, and emphasized the need for those responsible to be held accountable. Han's statement reflected the growing divisions within the ruling party, as many members sought to distance themselves from the controversy to preserve their political standing. Public reaction to the crisis was swift and overwhelmingly negative. Social media platforms were flooded with posts condemning the martial law declaration, with many users drawing parallels to South Korea's authoritarian past. The country's history of military rule remains a painful memory, and this incident has reignited fears of democratic backsliding. Street protests erupted in major cities, with citizens demanding transparency, accountability, and assurances that such actions would not be repeated. The political fallout from this event has been significant. Yoon's presidency was already under scrutiny due to low approval ratings and accusations of mishandling various crises during his tenure. His decision to declare martial law has further eroded public trust and raised questions about his judgment and leadership capabilities. Analysts have noted that this incident could weaken Yoon's influence within the People Power Party and diminish his ability to govern effectively. The opposition Democratic Party is likely to leverage this crisis to consolidate power and push for reforms that curb the executive branch's authority. The implications of this crisis extend beyond domestic politics. South Korea is a key player in the East Asian region, and any instability within its government can have ripple effects on its relationships with allies and adversaries alike. The declaration of martial law, even if short-lived, may raise concerns among South Korea's allies, including the United States and Japan, about the country's political stability. Additionally, North Korea may interpret the crisis as a sign of weakness, potentially emboldening its leadership to take more aggressive actions. Experts have offered varying interpretations of Yoon's motivations for declaring martial law. Some argue that it was a desperate attempt to consolidate power amid growing challenges to his leadership, while others believe it was a miscalculated response to internal security concerns. Regardless of the intent, the move has highlighted deep divisions within South Korea's political landscape and underscored the fragility of its democratic institutions. This incident also raises important questions about the role of the military in South Korea's governance. While the country has made significant progress in transitioning to a democratic system since the 1980s, the lingering influence of the military in politics remains a contentious issue. The rapid deployment of troops under Yoon's martial law order has renewed debates about the need for stricter oversight and clearer boundaries between civilian and military authority. The crisis has also sparked a broader conversation about constitutional protections and the balance of power in South Korea's government. Critics have called for reforms to prevent the misuse of emergency powers by future presidents. They argue that the events of December 3, 2024, should serve as a wake-up call for the nation to strengthen its democratic safeguards and ensure that such a situation cannot occur again. For citizens, the martial law declaration has been a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance in protecting democratic values. Many have expressed frustration and disappointment with the political establishment, calling for greater accountability and transparency from their leaders. Civil society organizations have pledged to continue advocating for reforms and monitoring the government's actions to prevent further abuses of power. In the weeks following the crisis, South Korea's political landscape will likely remain volatile. The opposition Democratic Party's push for impeachment proceedings could lead to a protracted legal and political battle, further destabilizing the government. Meanwhile, Yoon's ability to lead effectively will be tested as he faces mounting pressure from both his political opponents and his own party. This crisis is not just a domestic issue for South Korea, it carries global implications as well. As one of Asia's leading democracies, South Korea's stability is crucial for regional security and economic development. The international community will be watching closely to see how the country navigates this challenging period and whether it can emerge stronger and more unified. The martial law declaration and its aftermath serve as a cautionary tale about the fragility of democratic institutions. While South Korea has made remarkable progress in building a robust democratic system, this incident has exposed vulnerabilities that must be addressed to ensure the country's continued growth and stability. The path forward will require strong leadership, meaningful reforms, and a renewed commitment to upholding the principles of democracy. As South Korea grapples with the fallout from this crisis, the world is reminded of the importance of safeguarding democratic values in the face of challenges. The events of December 3rd, 2024, will undoubtedly leave a lasting impact on the nation's political and social fabric, shaping its future for years to come.